please talk about Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 2. Just for a second, please. It's coming up Fight Island this weekend on Saturday. 3 incredible fights on there. I'm going to focus on just this one because I like to always throw some terrible bets down on the fights. And this one, there are some really horrible ones that you can put down. Now, this one was an easier fight to kind of research because I mean I do watch pretty much every fight, live. But it's I'll go back and watch a few here and there. But it's easiest just if they're rematching to go back and watch their last fight. Now in the last fight, Volkanovski, he put on a hell of a show, man. And I actually had Volkanovski as an underdog in that particular matchup because I thought that he matched up quite well against Holloway. And you know what? He did a really fantastic job. And it was the leg kicks, let's be fair, it was the leg kicks that really won it for him. The leg kicks were outstanding. He really damaged Max Holloway's lead leg in the first round. Now, Max Holloway is best when he can switch stances kind of fairly regularly. He usually starts in orthodox, switches to southpaw and then back again. But he likes to kind of go between the two, and he lands a lot of strikes from different angles, from kind of unusual angles, which those are the strikes that usually kind of catch people out. But because Volkanovski was so good at attacking that leg, it stopped Holloway's usual unorthodox movement style. So that was a key there, because once he restricted the movement, he took control of the octagon. And most of the time, Volkanovski was going forwards. And that was a key again to getting the judges to score the rounds in his favour, because he was constantly going forwards. He was usually taking the centre of the octagon, and if he wasn't in the centre of the octagon, he'd back up for maybe 20 seconds, but then he's going back forwards. And he was constantly the aggressor, and that was the key, because Max Holloway kind of fell behind on the scorecards and he couldn't really quite catch up. Volkanovski, he's shockingly fast, actually. Whenever Max Holloway did have some success in that first fight. It was one-sided, but it wasn't a complete whitewash. So there are ways for Max Holloway to come back in this second fight and win this. But one thing that I noticed about Volkanovski is that for a big fella, because he's quite a big 145er. I mean, the guy used to weigh 240 pounds when he used to play rugby. So you can still see that in his frame, his legs particularly. He's an absolute tank. But he's shockingly fast. When Holloway was coming in and did land a few of those combinations, he was bringing these hooks round and he was landing. Before you could even notice he was moving. It was really quite shockingly fast. So I think that shocked Max a little bit, to be fair. I thought that, he maybe didn't think he was quite that fast. Volkanovski's cardio is also very good. But that's something that I saw as maybe a slight glimmer, not a weakness, but something that Max Holloway could exploit if he wants to win this fight. The other reason that Volkanovski won the first meeting between these two was that he had a great corner. His corner, they offered fantastic advice, throughout. At the end of every round, it was calm, it was clear, it was concise. They told him exactly what they thought, exactly what they needed him to do. And Volkanovski, he followed their advice kind of to the letter, really. And it was all of that culminated in a superb performance that resulted in him capturing the featherweight title of the world. Obviously, no two fights are the same. And Holloway is coming into this as a plus 275 underdog, plus 0.275 against Volkanovski's plus 1.40. Now, Holloway is the underdog in this one because obviously he lost the first fight. Stands to reason. But no two fights are the same. And I think that there are definitely there are things that Max Holloway can exploit. Looking at the first fight, he needs to check those leg kicks early. He cannot afford to let Volkanovski do the same thing again and hamper his movement and kind of destroy any chances he's got of getting into his own rhythm, into his own game plan. He needs to check those leg kicks. If he can do that, he can use his own leg kicks. And actually, there were a few kicks that he landed to the body on Volkanovski that were really good. You could see Volkanovski, he kind of acknowledged them. And it was a really nice, it was like a left kick to the body, right to the midsection. And you could see Volkanovski was like, whoa, okay, yeah, that one hurt. And I think that's also going to be the key, is to go to the body, take the wind out of Volkanovski's sails. because whilst Volkanovski has got outstanding cardio, I did notice in round number 5 of their first meeting, he definitely slowed down. That 100% happened, because that was Max's best round. I still think he lost the round, but he definitely had his most success in that 5th and final round, because I think Volkanovski was starting to gas just a little bit, because he had it all his own way. If you make sure he doesn't have it all his own way, then you can bring that on sooner. So I think that Max Holloway, really, he's a smart fighter, and he is legit. He was called the best featherweight champion of all time, and rightly so. If anyone can come back and win a rematch, it is Max Holloway. So, John, I quite fancy him as an underdog in this, because he's got to just go in. I think he's got to go to the body early, you know. Check those leg kicks. Make sure he's out of the way of those leg kicks so that he can continue to switch stances and attack from those awkward angles. Go to the body, then go to the head, and it's important to go to the body to take the wind out of the sails of Volkanovski. If he does that, I think he brings the tiredness on a couple of rounds. So in rounds 4 and 5, I think Volkanovski has a chance of getting tired. You know, a combination of body shots and fatigue. He's going to start lapsing in his defence, and that is when Max Holloway can strike, right? And I could see him getting the finish, TKO finish. He is plus 750 to get the TKO, which is a terrible bet, really, because again you're specifying the method of victory. But I think that Max Holloway, there's a very good chance he could. I think it's a better chance than plus 750 to get the finish. You know, I mean, I've seen way stranger things happen than that. But I mean, I am wrong all the time, so just bet the opposite of that if you want to actually make any money. But I'm not about that. I like the long odds. But if you want to take a bet and make it truly horrible, I always say specify the round as well. Because based on what I think, you know, could happen, again, this is all just, you know, semantics. It could happen. Anything could happen. You know, the sun could explode. We could, you know, the earth could implode. Whatever. This could happen. And I think it could happen in rounds 4 and 5. Round 4, you're looking at plus 34, and round 5, you're looking at plus 41 for Max to get the stoppage. So I've had £2 on both. Why the fuck not, eh? Do you know what I mean? I've seen way stranger things happen than that. I don't think that Max is the type of fighter to go in and just starch him early. He's not like a Jorge Masvidal who's just going to go and swing for the fences. He's a volume striker. So it stands to reason that he's going to use his cardio and maybe wear Volkanovski out and put him away in the 4th and 5th. Now watch Max Holloway fucking starch Volkanovski in the first round. Now that I've said that, watch him starch him in the very first round. Ugh, terrible.